Gear up as Cash Miller and a team of accomplished guests steer you on an enlightening voyage filled with valuable tips, fresh insights, and effective strategies. Welcome to Marketing Masters, the Agency Power Show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cash Miller. I'm the host of Marketing Masters and the CEO of Titan Digital. Today, I've got with me Eagan Heath of Caravan Digital. We're going to be talking digital marketing strategies. It's like, how do you put this together as a business owner? Eagan, it's great to have you. Tell us a bit about yourself, your agency.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Cash. So I really got started, over 7 years ago, mostly in local SEO and Google Ads, kind of doing lead generation for local businesses. Really got started here in the Madison, Wisconsin area. And we kind of branched out and got B2B clients and nonprofit clients and e-commerce clients. And along the way, we kind of, specialized a bit in e-commerce, and now we're even moving a bit back to lead generation. So certainly got experience, working in different channels and with different industries and things like that. Kind of our heavy hitters, we're doing SEO, Google Ads, Facebook ads, email automation, sometimes landing pages and websites and things like that as well. But happy to talk digital marketing strategy today. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be talking, when we talk, like one of the things we'll be bringing up is channels, and channels come in different forms because you can think of a channel being like a TikTok or a Facebook. You can think of it as being in the Google search results or, organically or, pay-per-click ads and stuff, and every business, depending on what they do, like you said, you do e-commerce and stuff, and the way you handle an e-commerce business versus a lead gen, type business, or one that needs leads is going to be, quite a bit different. So we want to talk about how you, go about figuring out, where you should be focusing. Like I say, digital is different depending on what your intent is and what your goals are. So let's start with key elements. If you're putting together a digital strategy, where do you need to be first thinking? What are some of the things, because we're talking about putting together a plan here. Where do we start?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I can share some slides, and I got some resources I can share with your listeners and viewers as well, if that's helpful.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that, because, visuals are always good. And, when we can get a chance to use them.
Yeah, right on. All right. Let me pull it up here just a second. So basically, there's different ways of approaching this. I don't know if, listeners could be, I assume, in different industries and different verticals. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we got, business owners of all sort, but, like I say, they could be e-commerce or, they could be running, the local plumbing or be a lawyer.
All right. Perfect. Can you see this screen okay?
It's coming up. There we go. Got it.
All right. So I actually just led a half-day workshop on this yesterday, so I'm fresh.
Oh, perfect.
So this is my take. People will give you different answers on what is strategy, but I'll just say briefly, any particular tactic is how do we rank higher on Google? How do we get a higher open rate with our email list? How do we get more engagement on social media? That's kind of like a specific thing. And then strategy is all of these things I'll talk about, and maybe you'll have some to add as well, Cash.
Yeah.
So here's how I think about it: is just who are we talking to? Who are we marketing to? Who do we sell to? We really want to get clear on that piece. And then kind of what's the problem we're addressing? In general, I frame it as a problem, but it could also just be an aspiration of this is something they want to do. They want to have this elaborate vacation. They just want to have a really nice car. It could be aspirational like that as well, right?
Yeah.
Really big on, what are you selling? What's the price? There's ways to dig in and make your offer more valuable, potentially throwing in freebies, reversing risk, other things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Huge fan of copywriting. So I don't know about you, but there's kind of a spectrum or different sides of marketing where there's kind of the big brand advertising over here, where we're thinking, Coca-Cola and Santa Claus and polar bears, the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, right.
And then on the other side is literally just we're sending out this many postcards and we need to get, this many phone calls back, right? And that's direct response marketing. I'm really more on that side. How about you?
When it comes to lead gen and everything, we do some things in the brand awareness space and whatnot because we do a lot of programmatic advertising and okay. So you can put that brand out there. But, like I say, if you're thinking Google, paid ads, SEO, those are lead gen tactics typically, but then, there's going to be a lot of influencing factors there.
Yeah, absolutely right. So if you're doing lead generation kind of stuff, I recommend direct response. And in that case, it's particularly important. What does that subject line in the email? What does the headline in the ad say? What's the top of the landing page say? And that's really a skill into itself. Something I'm excited to be, talking with clients about is really just, here's where you fit. Here's where your competition is in the market. How are you different? And, where do you have strengths to do something well that they can't do well, right? Mm-hmm. Or even things that, your customer persona, the people you're marketing to, they really care about it. And you're able to win over your competition there. So there is some element of that, right?
Yeah, certainly.
We mentioned, channels. Where do we, do we focus on SEO? Do we do YouTube ads? Do we do TV ads? Whatever it entails, I think there's a sense of where are the prospects at? And we can talk more about, where are they at in the funnel in terms of what sort of awareness do they have about, their problems and what you do, right? There's this whole element of budget. And when I talk about budget, I always talk about time and money, because a lot of things in marketing, it could be podcasts, it could be webinars, it could be writing SEO blog posts. You're not necessarily investing money directly, but you are investing time, or you may have to pay people to do that, right? And then if we're running advertising, obviously there's a budget or a way to think about the budgeting around that. And then because I'm a direct response marketer, I'm big on the measurement, right? What do the analytics say? How are we going to know whether this is successful or not? What was our cost per lead? What was our cost per sale? These are the sorts of things I look at when I think strategy. How do you think this looks? Does this cover most everything? I know there's a whole other element of branding and design and things like that. I'm kind of focused on, the lead generation piece. What do you think?
Yeah, totally. Because, it really depends on what kind of business you have and what you're trying to, what the intent is. But you want to be focused on that lead generation piece. There are multiple things that, you can take this stuff and break it down into like, hey, I need brand awareness or I need lead gen. But then when we think lead gen, it's more than just pay-per-click. It's more than just SEO. Because you mentioned like email marketing and such. Those can be really good direct response, and they can be combined with print, that are like, postcard campaigns and such, things like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of where we maybe get into the funnel a bit. Is it helpful to talk about that? I'm sure you guys have talked about that before.
Yeah, we've talked about a little bit of the funnel and stuff, but let's unpack what you've already kind of put up there first, because if we took it and segmented, into two categories, and we said these things are best at brand awareness, and then these things are best at lead gen, we kind of, put them into their two categories, because depending on what your business is, I say you either want the brand awareness or you want lead gen. Now, in some cases, you may want both, but they're prioritized. Like I deal with a lot of, service-based businesses and such, and you start with the lead gen. And then as your company grows, you grow into more brand awareness stuff, which does generate more leads and stuff, but they're going to do it in more of a roundabout way, because, it's as people they get used to you, they hear you. I think of some of the lawyers and stuff, and you see all the billboards and whatnot. And
it's sort of commoditized. How do you differentiate? Everyone's a realtor. Everyone's a
yeah, exactly. So let's start putting some of the stuff, the different things that you can do marketing wise into one category or the other. It's either this is going to be best for brands, and brand awareness and whatnot, and these are going to be best for the lead gen. So let's talk some of your top lead gen tactics first. We'll go there.
Yeah, that's great. I think it may make sense to talk a little bit about the funnel in that case. So it kind of
because you're going to start in the top too.
Yeah, that's usually what people are thinking about. So it's worth having a little discussion about that. Let me share again here. So this way we sort of think about it of people have different levels of awareness of where they at, right?
Okay.
And so in general, as we talk about tofu or top of funnel, the temperature is cold. All right. They have a problem, or maybe they don't even know they have a problem, but at the very top of the funnel, they may not even understand the problem. Mm-hmm. But let's go down a level. Let's say they know they have a problem. They don't know what the solution is, or maybe they have an aspiration. They're not sure how to fulfill it. Right.
Right.
And then in terms of middle of funnel, okay, the temperature's warmer. They're more interested. They know about some solutions to their problem, but they haven't yet picked an exact company, and they may or may not buy, in the next month or months. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously sales cycles are going to be different. And then bottom is they're hot. They know they have a problem. They know what the solution is. And they know that you are one of the companies, or, you have some of the offerings that can fix it. And they're narrowing down their choices. They will buy. It's a question of who they're going to buy from, right? And so then how does that fit into channels? And then we can have that conversation. So you said, let's start at the top, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sort of thinking top of funnel, and I'm thinking mostly in a direct response mode, but anything in here could be adding to your brand as well, right? Particularly once we've got those pieces in place of we've got the logo, we've got the colors, we've got the branding and the collateral, people are going to be seeing us, in all these places, right? So top of funnel, I think social media ads.
Yep.
I think potentially SEO blog posts. And I say blog posts specifically. Let's say we got a company, we're selling products nationally. If someone's doing an informational search, they may just kind of be learning about their problem. They don't even know what products to search for, right?
Yeah.
One kind of interesting example is just like everybody's got lower back pain. We're always working on our computers and being inside and stuff. And, one solution to that is like these inversion tables where you're like lying back and basically going upside down or nearly upside down, right? And so if you're just Googling about back pain, you could learn about ways to address back pain. Maybe there's some stretches, maybe there's some exercises, maybe do yoga and Pilates. But then also, here's this thing, here's these moon boots you can hang upside down in your door frame. Here's this inversion table, right? So I didn't even know that hanging upside down in the door frame like Batman is a thing. I didn't even know I could get an inversion table where I go upside down, right? So if I'm in top of funnel, I'm just looking at, the pain basically is how I think about it. I separated banner ads. I don't know if you call it programmatic. I'm just saying display. This is Google Display, Microsoft, other audience networks.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. Huge fan at this point of lead magnets. And what's tricky when I, coach clients or students on, I teach workshops and things like that, like I did yesterday. And, we kind of want to go right into here's us, here's all about us. This is what people think marketing is. They've heard all this advertising, they've seen Super Bowl commercials, so they think it's like be splashy, be interesting, and talk about yourself, and maybe make fun of the competitors. And that's really not what I'm saying here. I'm saying let them know that like they've got a problem. And so as an example, we run Google ads for clients. I'm sure you guys do too. Like a lead magnet might be an ad of, are you making these 12 mistakes in your Google ads account? Or like, marketers, how many of these pay-per-click mistakes are you making? Right. So we're addressing our persona. We're saying there's pain, like there's some problem with performance, right? But we're not even talking about our logo or our brand or even telling them what the solution is. They've got to put in an email and get a drip campaign, basically, right?
Yeah, totally. I talked to somebody that, they start with like Facebook ads with the idea of that they use a lead magnet. So, it's the top of funnel stuff. They get you in there. The whole point is just they actually run paid ads on Facebook with the idea of just getting the email. And Facebook actually has a way, of just charging you when they submit, and you've got an email address, and that's it. Having that kind of a lead magnet, because you're at the top, depending on what type of business, you could take even a service related business where there's not necessarily a need right in that moment, but you've given them something for free. It's usually an informational product of some sort. You've collected the address. Now you can market to them with your, more standard services and such. And it's a way of building up, more awareness. And then when they have a need, they'll come to you.
Absolutely. And I think that's a strong 1-2 punch of we're running top of funnel ads. Could be social media, could be, programmatic display potentially. And there's kind of this element of, hey, you can get the next free thing. Like we've got some great information for you. You're just learning more about, your problems, right? And potentially how you could solve them. Yeah. And so it's almost like a product, but it's a $0 product. It's an information product. And we can keep the conversation going, send them a series of emails, right? Yeah. That is very powerful. I throw, podcasts and content in this. This could be YouTube videos. This could be audio podcasts and things like that. Happy to talk about that. Maybe this doesn't even belong in top of funnel. And then organic social. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say podcasts and organic and stuff. They really are top of funnel, items and stuff because, they're educational in nature, and you're putting something in front of them, with the idea of you do drive some more awareness about you. And then you can also, put into, combine it with some sort of a lead magnet or something. If you were doing a podcast, you could say at the end of the podcast, hey, if you'd like to learn more, I've got this special offer and here's an informational product and, you can subscribe to it. Same thing with YouTube, things like that.
Absolutely. Fully agree. And then, what comes up a lot, I don't know about you, but like kind of in this area, when I'm talking with local businesses, when they think digital marketing, they're thinking I'm posting on Facebook, I'm posting on Instagram, maybe LinkedIn, right? Yeah. And so their thought of what digital marketing is, oftentimes people have one channel in mind of, oh yeah, that's Instagram, right? And Instagram, you can still get some organic reach for many years now. If you post to your company Facebook page, even the people that like your page don't see it, right? It's pay to play. The big tech giants are shaking you down to talk to your own audience. And so I don't focus on that one as much. Oftentimes, this is the first thing people think of when they talk with us. They're like, now, is your team going to be posting to our Facebook page? And I honestly say no, because it doesn't matter, because no one sees that.
Yeah. Yeah. We've gotten away from, like, we do social media as a service and such, but it's really, and only certain types of businesses that we suggest, that is a channel that you should use. Like I say, and you have to have, specific intent. I talked to a guy that uses like TikTok videos actually and such, and because they can be, TikTok and Facebook, because they can be very inexpensive to run, but they're still top of funnel things. They're not, they'll build up your brand awareness and stuff like that. But you're right, the reach is not there. So, you're going to have to pay. So is that going to be the best use of your resources, to use those channels?
Yep. And just, the final word on top of funnel for me is, I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, we're doing this. How come I'm not seeing results? Where are the sales? Where are the leads? Right. And the whole idea here is, if someone's just problem aware at best, they don't even know what the solution is. They don't know that you offer it. They don't know why you're better than your competitors. And there's no reason they need to buy right now.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So this is a part of it. And notice the top of the funnel is the most wide part of the funnel. That's why we call it a funnel. Not everyone who downloads that lead magnet is ready to have a sales conversation with you, right? Yeah. Not everyone who gets on your email list or, listens to your podcast is going to buy from you. And you have to just be okay with that. Some people will, because you're building, like you said, brand awareness, people like you, they trust you, they see you as an authority. That's powerful. And then as people go down here, then we're in the middle of funnel, right? Now they understand, okay, I've got lower back pain. This weird inversion table thing could help me. And now I want to understand who makes inversion tables. Who could I buy this from, right? And so that's why I say SEO service or product page. Up above at top of funnel, we just had a blog post. Now potentially people could actually look at our service page that we offer. They could look at that product page for that inversion table in this example, right? And they may actually Google, or a surprising number of people use Bing. Actually, you'd be amazed, right? Yeah. Of people are on PCs, they're using Windows, they're using Microsoft Edge. The default is Bing, and they don't change it. Yeah. It's some estimates are like 1 in 5 to 1 in 4 searches on desktop in the U.S. are still Bing. Well, that actually might be increasing too because of ChatGPT and such, and they're less encumbered than Google is as far as how they can experiment with its incorporation into the results. So yeah, and why not? Yeah, fair play to them. Right? Yeah, it's their best opportunity to gain search share that they've had in a decade. Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. Pretty interesting. Yeah, and same sort of idea of, let's say we're not ranking on the top of page 1 for our services or our products yet. Then maybe we're running Google Ads to jump up there. I don't know about you, Cash, but I've recently noticed that there can now be 5 search ad results at the top of a Google results page. I haven't seen 5 yet, but it's been 4 for the longest time. But what I have seen is they're doing the infinite scroll. So if you do that, what's happening is you get the load more. Instead of going to page 2, 3, 4 or whatever, it's load more, and then it starts with more ads. And then it goes down, load more, you get more ads and stuff. So they are creating more space, no matter what, for it. Not surprising though, if they're starting to add in a 5th, it probably depends on the search terms itself of when they're bringing them in or not. I've noticed it a couple times now. It used to say a little ad next to it. Now it says sponsored. Yeah. It's pretty innocuous. If someone's not sophisticated, they're not in this world like we are, they don't always notice what's an ad and what's not. And so that's a good way to jump to the top and only pay per click to get in front of people looking for your service or your product. Yeah. When you're doing the scroll, especially on your phone, the ads are a lot more, or less noticeable. They're there, but to identify them has become a bit harder, especially as you're going through that scroll, and you're just, because you're not expecting it. That's the thing. You're thinking after I've gotten past that first set, I'm not going to get really any more. They've had, on the bottom of desktop results, of course, additional ads, forever, but you have to get to the bottom now. And like I say, if it just keeps scrolling and it's insert, give you 10 more organic, insert 10 more, so they are changing up the way because, Google, like I say, any way they can possibly make more money off of us, they're going to try. That's the big workhorse. That's right. I also mentioned, so that's, when you're running search ads or potentially Google shopping ads, right? Or even Bing shopping ads, Microsoft shopping ads, it's like you're tapping into someone's looking for that inversion table or whatever the product is. There's an image of it. Maybe there's even some, reviews and, shows the price, and there's not a lot of info, but get us right there, right? I include remarketing in here as well. You could certainly have remarketing in the bottom of funnel too. This could be on social media. This could be, with those banner or display or, programmatic sort of ads. But they've seen us once, and now they're kind of in the consideration phase. Right? They're looking at different companies and things like that. They're maybe checking out different inversion tables or different service providers or things, right? So at this point, I also recommend a lead magnet. We still want people on the email list, maybe even on the SMS text list, and we can entice them with some free information. Now, at this point, we might move away from pain into even some of the more specifics and educate people on how to buy our product or service, right? So if we are a contractor, let's say we're a roofing contractor like this, right? It's sort of like avoid these 12 mistakes on your next roofing project, right? Mm-hmm. So same idea, scare them a little bit of, what do I don't even know what I don't know, right? But what you're doing then is they get on your list, you send them a series of emails, maybe you send them that free PDF guide at first, and that guide educates them on why you're the best choice, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, you can continuously use educational pieces and whatnot, but, and remarketing, I kind of agree that it goes into the middle of the funnel, cause you're still building up brand awareness at that stage. You're reminding them, but they haven't necessarily made a decision, to do anything, and you get them into the email marketing, there are all sorts of, uses and ways that you can, like I say, it's constantly putting out additional content, in front of them. But now we're trying to push potentially a buying decision, move forward. If it's going to be an e-commerce thing, you're also showing off additional products and whatnot. So there's each is a different method. What I've always tried to point out to people too is these things all work together. It's not just a one, type deal. It's like I say, you could be using Facebook as a top of funnel thing that then gives a free, ebook or something, some sort of PDF, whatever, as being an informational product. And then, now they're getting information on a certain thing. And maybe, now within that, you're directing them to another piece, within your whole funnel, and you could have them also, you think of, especially with emails, because they're different systems, you can load up the emails. So for example, I could collect the emails off of Facebook, and then I could load them into a programmatic ad system, and I can show them ads on related products and stuff once I have enough emails collected. So there's a lot of crossovers between things.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's part of why I was excited to talk about this today. Again, I started, life as an SEO agency here, and people would always come to me, we need better SEO, we need this or that. And as soon as you get into it, it's like, well, your website design is really a problem. Actually, you're not even on WordPress. Actually, there's all these other problems that need to be addressed first. Yeah. And it's not going to be the only solution. Or if you're running Google ads and you're like, we're not getting the results we're expecting, we're running Facebook ads, we're not seeing what we want to see, that's just one channel. You might be doing one tactic on one channel and expecting the full funnel. When you get these playing together, that's when you get results. And this whole bringing them through the levels of awareness is a piece of it, right? Yeah,
I go back to Facebook, but then I say, okay, I'm collecting email addresses so that I can do email marketing, for them. Or I'm using Facebook and I'm driving traffic to the site, knowing that traffic's not necessarily going to convert, but then I can use Google and I can have a retargeting, I can have an ad going around and start following them, but I needed to get the influx of visitors, so programmatic works the same way. I'm targeting specific audiences, that might be, hey, these people have searched for running shoes or something like that. So let me then show, ads that would lead back to my website that are related to those types of products. And so these things work together, if you think about them. If you just go for SEO and you say, okay, I'm going to go that one channel, the problem is going to be that you're only going to show up in one area, and even if you show up, they've still got to click, and you've got a bunch of terms you want to be able to target. Well, it might be better to run paid ads, because you think, okay, I could draw them in through Google and I could run a remarketing ad. I could run something on Facebook, and then I could start hitting them on that channel because I've got the pixel installed and I've got them, collected on over here. So, a lot of people don't realize when you're putting together a strategy, think about how these things could actually support each other and, look at a bigger picture. Channels can work together. We often take them and, consider them being siloed.
Absolutely. And by no means am I suggesting everybody needs to do everything on this list. But I am saying you probably need something at each level of the funnel. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, totally. I say, so if we take, basically what you've got, on here, and you think of, as services, sometimes we'll combine things. So if you take the top of the funnel, you take your banner ads, programmatic ads and stuff, you're using display ads and you're running them on different websites, and you combine that with running stuff on Facebook. Okay, these are top of the funnel, large traffic drivers, lots of clicks. Okay, then I'm going to get them into the middle area, and I'm going to click in, I'm going to hit my retargeting ads, do remarketing and whatnot. And I'm going to have them follow them around and such, because I've got the people here now based on what I was driving them to. I want to keep reminding them about those things. And I might be, then putting in an offer, because I could have them have an ad follow around, but I could have a lead magnet or something in that ad, and saying, okay, click here, because my ultimate goal is I want to get your, email address or something so that I can get you on a newsletter, and then I can start putting, products or services and stuff in front of you. And then so you get to the bottom of the funnel, but you could say, okay, hey, we'll give you this, piece away for free, but I want 2 pieces of information instead of 1. I want the email, and I'd love it, would you be open to receiving text messages, And so you get these things to work together.
That's right. And I think you've got that exactly right. A lot of what you do in middle, you could do at bottom. Maybe we're changing the audiences throughout. Maybe that top of funnel social media ad is geographic targeting mothers in this area.
Oh, yeah.
That's the workshop. The workshop we did yesterday was for a children's museum. And so often it's the mothers bringing their kids in. And so maybe it's top of funnel, we're targeting mothers in the area, but then middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, we're targeting, people who went to the website and left, people who engaged on social media, people who engaged in the ad, maybe people from an email list, like you said, it's same channel, but maybe different ad, different targeting, right?
Yeah. And if it's like a children's museum or something, if you've got that kind of an organization, well, the idea might be we want to sign them up for annual memberships, to visit.
Yes.
In which case, okay, now I've got these different strategies. This is my end goal. Okay. So what are the ways that I can use to bring people in and accomplish that end goal, which is to sell more, annual passes and stuff to the museum, So that's a great example of an organization, the zoos and anything like that, where, I say, what's the end? That's the moneymaker. That's what we want to be able to do. But you have these different ways that can work together to bring them in and constantly remind them.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so at bottom of funnel, as people are comparing they're going to buy. It's just a question of from who, right? It's like we're using email. Maybe we're using SMS text these days if we can. Webinar is powerful. It could be live. It could be pre-recorded, but make sure people give their information to watch a pre-recorded video. It could be all kinds of lengths and formats, but that's a great way to educate over time. You're building rapport and authority as you do that. And like you said, there's kind of that back end offer. So if the front end offer is come in and check out the Children's Museum for one day, a day of play, basically is what it was called. And then, like you said, the real money makers, the membership. How do we then get people interested who come in for that first day of play? And from there, then we're talking with previous customers. So it's like they went through the funnel. There was a sale that happened at the bottom of the funnel, but then the real money's made on the back end of email marketing, maybe SMS marketing, more webinars and videos, maybe a referral program. If they tell someone else about it, there's benefit for both of you potentially. That's really how you do it. And this is really how we get new customers. And then once someone comes through, the previous customer piece is really where big businesses are built. I think that's what I've seen. Is that how you think about it?
Oh, yeah, totally. With any business, you really, if you take the time to be creative and think of it through. I had this, because you used the museum example, I had this thing that popped in my head, so if any zoos, are listening and stuff. So the Memphis Zoo has cameras in some of their, cages and stuff, as far as the animals, you can see them, you can watch the alligators or the elephants roaming around and stuff. Well, that could actually be in there. Come see them, live. And then you're using it, from there. Hey, why don't you actually visit them, and you use it, as a way to drive memberships and stuff. You have to think creatively about businesses. It's like, what are we offering that would be a reason for people, like I said, we want to know what the end goal is, but think of those, what are the hooks, that are going to be able to bring them in, whether it's information related that you're giving away or something else. It's a webinar that you're willing to do, and you want to think of it, like say, as you've got each stage of the funnel. That's what you want to be considering is how are the different channels? How do they work together? What are the things we could be offering that are maybe freebies and such, and then what's our end goal?
Absolutely. Well put. So I hope that's helpful in terms of people are at different phases. If you're just doing one of those things, you're not getting the results of those playing together. And what we ultimately want is first purchase and then repeat purchases, lifetime customer value, right?
Yeah. So I'll ask this final question of so we know everything that's in the funnel. Yeah. If you're a business owner though, how are you going to, it can be that's a lot, right? So how should they approach, kind of examining their own business and saying, okay, I should be doing this. I'm not going to use them all, but I could use this one.
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that. So our goal is let's focus on 3. There's so many things we could do. We could be on TikTok. We could have a podcast. We could be doing lives. It's like there's a lot you could potentially be doing. Don't do it all. Mm-hmm. Don't do it all in a mediocre way. Do 3 things decently well, right? And that's going to show results. So pick something from each level of that funnel. I've got a resource, Cash. I'm happy to, send you the link for it.
Sure. We can put it in the show notes and stuff. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I got one more for you. And I hope you guys are going to like this because I put a lot of time into this. So it's called your digital marketing plan. And this is a Google Doc. And what it does is selecting your top channels. And you can kind of see on the table of contents over here. I'll try to zoom in. It's use SEO if. So here's an example. If keyword research, if you do keyword research, it shows there's existing demand. People actually search for what you offer. People are doing moment in time searches, signal they'll buy soon. People do research before they buy. They need information before they're ready to hand over their money. Maybe Google ad clicks are too expensive. You have time to potentially put in and invest, but you don't have money to put in advertising, right? Mm-hmm. And you can wait a while for results because SEO takes time. I'm saying 4 to 8 months, 4 to 18 months. Could be more, could be less, but that's kind of what we see, right?
Yeah.
And if that sounds right to you, you've done these pieces, you've established that's right, then SEO makes sense. What's your SEO plan? Okay, what keywords are you going to target? What are the landing pages, right? When you're going to optimize those pages, is your technical SEO correct? Are things fast, mobile, no broken links, search console errors, etc.? What are you going to blog about, right? How do you make your blogs the best on the internet? Can you use the skyscraper technique, right? How are you going to earn links from other websites? How much time can you spend doing this? Put it on your calendar, do it now. And I've got examples of recommendations like that. So you can go channel by channel. Here's one for Google ads and Bing ads, search ads, right? Similar idea. Keyword research shows there's existing demand. People are doing moment in time searches that signal they're going to buy soon. You need results faster than SEO. I need leads yesterday, right? I'm a local service business. I need leads tomorrow. This is going to be way faster. PPC ads are the speedboat. SEO is the juggernaut, right? And if paying per click is profitable per conversion, you should absolutely do this. People say, how do I know it's going to work? You don't know until you test, but also start here because if this doesn't work for you, like why do you think a billboard is going to work for you? Why do you think wrapping your car is going to work for you? Anything else you're going to do, you're getting in front of people who are searching for what you offer if you do this right, and you only pay per click. I think anything else is crazy. I think you got to start here. How about you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You have to start there. And you're right in the point that you make that unless you actually do it, you don't know if it's going to work. I like when people, ask for estimates and stuff, especially like Google ads and whatnot. I tell them, okay, here, this is straight from Google. Here's your estimate. This is what it thinks it'll do conversion wise and stuff. But until we actually start running things, this is an estimate, based on a system, that wants you to spend money. So, we have to actually do, run ads to see what the results are going to be.
Yeah, that's right. And that's frustrating, but you kind of have to be the adult and say there are unknowns and there's testing required. But if this testing works out, you're going to put in $1 and get more dollars back. That's a pretty magical machine. Yeah,
that's exactly, that's what you have to do. And I also tell people it's like, look, I've run a lot of, campaigns for a lot of different companies, probably ran, campaigns that are the same kind of company that you own. But until I actually run your ads, all I can give you is estimates on what I think it will do because your geographic area can be different. The keywords you're targeting, if they can cost more in your particular area. There's so many factors, that go into it. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
Eagan, this has been great. How would people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can definitely find us on caravandigital.com. Depending on when this goes live, that site is really focused on the e-commerce side of things. We certainly do lead generation. So for that, you can find us at getfoundmadison.com. And if anyone's interested in the e-commerce side of things, I have a podcast called What's Working in E-commerce.
Okay. Well, this has been great. I'm Cash Miller. I'm the host of Marketing Masters, the CEO of Titan Digital. And, we've been talking, about how you put your digital marketing strategy together. Funnels, it's really what it's all about because, like I say, we have a lot of brand awareness. We have a lot of lead gen, related things, but often they're interrelated. And if you think of it, start at the top of the funnel, make your way down. You want to say, what are the channels that I can use? What makes sense for my business? What's kind of my middle intent? I want to collect email addresses or, I want to be able to get people so that I'm remarketing to them. And then you got the bottom, of what are you actually trying to get them to do, buy, what's the end result that you're looking for? So again, another great episode. Hope you enjoyed it and we'll see you next time.